Hello traders, this is Kevin Loughlin. I am a harmonic counter-trend trader, and as the name suggests, I use harmonic patterns in my trading. I also use Elliott wave principle, and I guide my decisions with elements of classical technical analysis and Japanese candlestick patterns. Sorry for the lateness of this weekly update. I was quite busy last week with a few other business concerns I had, and wasn't able to get a video out midweek. But this evening I'd like to discuss a few patterns that I'm currently looking at and a couple of trades, I think at least two trades that I'm involved in currently, or at least one, and one trade that is closed actually. So let's carry on, and first of all let's have a look at the US dollar against the Canadian dollar. And we're looking at the 4-hour chart here. And what I noticed about this, within this pattern, was that when I drew a trend line from here to here, obviously I noticed this happening before it got up to this trend line, but I also noticed that I had a butterfly pattern, which is defined by an AB, which is a 78.6, and I said 78.8, should be 78.6 of XA. It retraced to a 38.2 to C. And interestingly, as defined, as the butterfly is defined, the termination point, the D point or the PRZ, potential reversal zone, is a 127 of AX, and it coincides nicely with this trend line. So I set a sell limit here about 310, set a conservative target of a 38.2 retrace of CD, which it hit nicely. Second half position was moved to break even. The market rallied again, but didn't take me out, and subsequently dropped down here to, I think it was just past it was between a 61.8 and 78.6 of AD. Yeah, but interestingly, what it did, it decided to diverge. So I took off my half position as it diverged here on the RSI relative to price. And I think I took about 35 pips profit for the quite a conservative first target, and I think on the second half it was about 150 pips profit. So this is another harmonic pattern, X, A, B, C, and D, and it was nicely concluded by intersection with the trend line and also overbought on the RSI. Okay, so another pair I was involved in last week, which is now closed, was the Aussie dollar against the Singapore dollar. And this is what's known as a Gartley pattern, X, A, B, C, and D termination point. So I got involved in this. I quite like the fibs in this because we have this dotted line is the equivalent to this dotted line. So from a harmonic perspective, this is the equivalent A, B, C, and D. And again, it coincided with a nice fib here, the 94.1. And also we had some overbought, we're starting to get overbought on the RSI. And again, I set actually the market went against me, so inevitably with trading you have to be prepared to feel some pips of pain. I had set my stop above the 113. Extension of AX, which is another fib number, manipulation of the Fibonacci numbers. And the market, first of all, it did turn on a dime at the 94.1, but didn't fill my position here, my target one. It rallied but stayed within this channel, bounced off the channel a couple of times and then decided to reverse down, and as you can see it managed to hit my target one. So I think it was in there about, I think I actually set a sell limit about 305 or 302 or whatever, and it came back down to 206, so almost 100 pips profit on that one. Second half moved to break even when it hit target one, second half taken out, so just about 100 pips profit on the first position for that one. Oops. Okay, so the chart just behaves itself. Now, Another one, just one I'd like to look at, is Euro USD, the famous Euro USD that everyone likes to get involved in. This is a 1 hour chart. I quite like this on the daily chart, and we're starting to see some nice fibs taking place. And what we can see is this bull leg here. It's like a 3-wave pattern, and then this could be a 3-wave pattern here. And as I say, the fib's quite nice, so you're almost getting a 61.8 to make this a Gartley pattern here at B. It retraces virtually perfectly back up in the 6184C. Many 618s actually end in an 886, so it very much depend on what the RSI is doing in terms of being oversold. May even get a little pattern in here and give us an indication on a lower time frame to get involved in this market and long it. The dotted lines are equivalent, so the equivalent AB equals CD. A, B, C, and D actually nicely coincides with the 78.6, which is the classic PRZ for a classic Gartley. You could describe this as a 222 Gartley, named after the page in H.M. Gartley's 1935 book, because it's got a classic Fibonacci relationships within it. So is it going to be a 786 where there's going to be some correction, or is it going to be an 886? We don't know. Again, we're being predictive rather than prescriptive, and we're waiting to see what other elements of our trading plan do, i.e. what the RSI does. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this market. We know there's a lot of fundamental news out, with a lot of downgrades of European countries and banks, etc. in Spain. So I don't trade fundamentals, I trade technicals, but I keep a keen eye on them to see what's happening in the world. We also have a bit of structure down here between the 786 and 886. A bit of structure just there at the termination point here of the AB equals CD. So we do have a bit of structure going on there. So there may be some profits potentially here and longing this market. Okay, so let's move on to the Aussie dollar. I've mentioned this a few times recently. This is an interesting one because, again, the fibs are quite good. We've got the X, A, B, C. I'm waiting to see if there's potential D up here with an overbought RSI to short this one. But in the meantime, we almost had a pattern down here, X, A, B, C, and D, but it didn't quite get down to a point for me down towards an 886. This would have been a bat, harmonic bat pattern coming down here into about 3 at 250, retracing about 50, and would have wanted to get further down into the 886 of XA. What it has done though subsequently, as patterns often do, is they repeat themselves harmonically. So we get up into a 618 here in this one, and go down here to about, I think it was about a 50. It got up into 786, close 786, didn't really make a significant drop, but decided to test the B point here on our big Gartley, and has reversed and dropped down here. But as I'm waiting to see if it'll actually get back up, break the A point, and get back up into a tradable pattern up here. In that case, it would be a Gartley that I'd like to go short on. Okay. Now, another market involved in is Apple. And I like this one. This is the weekly chart, and from an Elliott wave perspective, I'm seeing this as a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then potentially a 5. So within this, we've got subwave 1, 2, 3, 4, and we should have a 5 up here. So it would be 3 and 5 together. I'm short this because it's looking quite overbought on the, as well as having the Elliott wave hopefully concludes with a third wave. It's getting overbought on the daily. If we look at that, I don't have any. So we also have this channel 2 that's been confined to for quite a while, and as you can see, it's overbought here on the daily. It tested the X point here of this bat pattern. So X, A, B, C, and D, and I'd like to see this drop further. On the 4 hour, my target is, if I can just get this to minimize a little bit. Okay, so we've got our X, A, B, C, and D for this bat. We have a test of X here, and again we saw quite a bit of being overbought. So my target's down here at $408, $409 rather. My entry point's actually, I front ran this one at about $417, $418. So I'm in a bit of a deficit here, feeling some pips of pain, points of pain in this case, and hopefully this will drop down to $409 or thereabouts. Again, the reason for that, we go back to the weekly, is that often a third wave will retrace back to the extreme of the 4, but my target is quite conservative, in that we're looking at $409 up here initially, and then if it does drop further down past these significant points of support, it may eventually get down to here, which is about $310. So we've got to wait and see what it does. Okay, very briefly, I'm going to look at the Euro GB pound, which I'm still involved in, just about staying in by the skin of my teeth on this one. So here we are. So another Gartley X, A, B, C, D. It's reversed the X point. We've got a 1-to-1 risk reward in this one, so just below, I think it's just below the 113 here extension of XA. The market has dropped again. It made a nice rally. It's dropped again. Given the fundamental news, who knows what might happen. But I'm going to stick to my plan and see if we get this to rally and come back up and make some profits. Anyway, traders, that's it for tonight. I hope you have a good week's trading. The markets haven't opened yet, so let's keep an eye and see what these charts and these technicals do. Good night, and bye for now.